Sometimes, the hardest part of life is not the pain, it's the silence. The silence after you pray, the silence after you cry, the silence after waiting so long for things to change. And maybe lately, you have been wondering, God, are you even listening? Because nothing seems different. The doors are still closed, the pain is still there, the answers still haven't come, and deep inside, you are tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of pretending to stay strong. But listen carefully tonight. Just because God is silent does not mean he is absent. God is still working in silence. Some of the greatest things God does happen quietly. A seed grows in silence. Healing happens in silence. Faith grows in silence. And sometimes, God changes your entire life in seasons where you see nothing happening. We live in a world that wants instant answers, instant success, instant healing, instant change. But God often works slowly, not because he forgot you, but because he is preparing you, preparing your heart, preparing your future, preparing blessings you cannot yet understand. The Bible says, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. That verse is powerful, because sometimes God asks you to trust him before you see results. Real faith is trusting God in silence. Anybody can believe when miracles happen, but true faith says, even if I cannot see God working, I still trust him. Maybe right now, you feel stuck in life. Maybe you are praying for healing, praying for peace, praying for direction, praying for something to finally change. And because nothing has happened yet, your heart is becoming discouraged. But don't lose faith now, because silence is not rejection. God's silence often means, wait, I'm still working. Sometimes God delays answers because the timing matters. Sometimes he removes things before adding better things. And sometimes he allows waiting seasons because your spirit is still growing. You may only see confusion right now, but God sees the full picture. He sees the future you cannot see. He sees the doors about to open. He sees the healing that is coming. He sees the strength being built inside you through this difficult season. Nothing about your pain is wasted. Every lonely night, every silent prayer, every moment you almost gave up, God saw all of it. And even when heaven feels quiet, God is closer than you think. The truth is, some prayers are answered immediately, others are answered slowly, but God never ignores a faithful heart. So tonight, don't let silence destroy your faith. Keep praying, keep trusting, keep walking with Christ. Even when life feels uncertain, even when emotions feel heavy, even when you do not understand the reason for this season. Because one day, you will realize that God was working behind the scenes the entire time. And when that day comes, you will thank him for every delayed answer, every closed door, and every silent season that shaped the person you are becoming. God is still working, even in silence. There are seasons in life where everything feels quiet, too quiet. Your prayers feel unanswered, your heart feels tired, and every day starts to feel the same. You keep asking God for a sign, for direction, for peace, but all you hear is silence. And slowly, that silence begins to test your faith. Because when God moves quickly, trust feels easy. But when heaven becomes quiet, that is when faith becomes difficult. Maybe you have been carrying hidden pain for a long time, smiling in front of people, while fighting silent battles inside your mind, trying to stay hopeful, while your heart secretly feels exhausted. And maybe tonight, you are wondering if things will ever get better. But hear this carefully. God does some of his greatest work in silence. When Jesus was in the tomb, everything looked hopeless. People thought the story was over. But while the world saw silence, God was preparing resurrection. And maybe your life feels like that right now. Like nothing is happening, like your prayers disappeared into the sky, like God forgot about your struggles. But silence does not mean abandonment. Sometimes God becomes quiet because he wants you to trust him without seeing everything clearly. Faith is not believing only when life makes sense. Faith is continuing to trust God even during confusion, even during delays, even during heartbreak, even during uncertainty. The Bible says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." 2 Corinthians 5:7. That means there will be seasons where you cannot see what God is doing, but he is still working. behind closed doors, behind painful moments, behind every delay you do not understand. Sometimes God protects you through unanswered prayers. Sometimes He saves you from things you wanted desperately. And sometimes the waiting season itself changes who you are becoming. Because waiting builds patience, waiting builds humility, waiting builds dependence on God. And while waiting may feel painful, it often prepares people for blessings they are not ready for yet. Right now, you may feel emotionally drained. Maybe you are losing motivation. Maybe fear keeps entering your mind. Maybe you feel disconnected from everyone around you. But don't let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. This difficult season is not your final chapter. God still has plans for your life. Plans bigger than your current pain. Plans greater than your disappointment. Plans stronger than the fear trying to live inside your heart. You may not understand the process now, but one day, everything will make sense. One day you will realize God was protecting you, growing you, strengthening you, leading you closer to Him through every painful season. So tonight, do not give up because of silence. Keep praying, keep believing, keep trusting God quietly. Because even when you cannot hear Him, God is still near. Even when you cannot see movement, He is still working. And even in your darkest season, Jesus is still walking beside you. Maybe you are tired of being strong, tired of acting like everything is okay, tired of carrying emotional pain nobody understands, tired of fighting battles silently while the world keeps moving around you. And sometimes, the silence becomes overwhelming. You pray for peace, but anxiety remains. You pray for answers, but confusion stays. You pray for strength, but your heart still feels weak. And in those moments, it becomes easy to believe that God is distant. But the truth is, God is often closest during the seasons you feel weakest. The problem is, pain changes the way people see life. Pain makes you overthink. Pain makes you question yourself. Pain makes you feel forgotten. And slowly, fear starts speaking louder than faith. Maybe that is where you are right now, trying to stay hopeful while secretly feeling exhausted inside. But listen carefully. Your current season is not permanent. Storms feel endless while you are inside them. But no storm lasts forever. The Bible says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Psalm 35. That verse reminds us of something powerful. Pain has an expiration date, and even though you cannot see it yet, God is already preparing your healing. Sometimes healing happens slowly, not in one dramatic moment, but little by little, one prayer at a time, one quiet night at a time, one step of faith at a time. And maybe today, God simply wants you to keep going, not perfectly, not fearlessly, just faithfully. Because faith is not pretending life is easy. Faith is saying, "God, I still trust you even when life hurts." And that kind of faith changes people. The truth is, some of the strongest people are those who kept believing while carrying broken hearts. People who cried privately, but still prayed. People who felt weak, but still trusted God. People who walked through darkness, without letting darkness destroy their soul. And maybe you are becoming one of those people right now. This season is shaping your character. The loneliness is teaching dependence on God. The waiting is teaching patience. The pain is teaching strength. Even now, God is building something inside you that comfort could never create. One day, you will look back at this difficult chapter and realize God never abandoned you. He carried you through nights you thought would break you. He protected you from things you never understood. He strengthened you in ways you could not see at the time. And when that day comes, your faith will become stronger than your fear. So tonight, take a deep breath. You do not need to have every answer right now. You do not need to understand the entire journey. You only need to keep walking with Christ one step at a time, even slowly, even emotionally, even with tears in your eyes. Because God still walks beside tired hearts, and He has never stopped walking beside you.